I feel like almost everyone watching this video can relate to this. You're working on a project at home, you think it's going to be super easy and simple, and then it turns into 10 trips to the home improvement store. Depending on what part of the country you live at, that might be a Lowe's, a Home Depot, or a Menards. And sometimes if you're lucky, or maybe unlucky, you'll have more than one in your town. But in this video, we're going to visit all 3 of them and let me, Jeff, read some funny and wild 1-star reviews. So if you like this video, leave a like, comment down below any other suggestions you have, and let's just get into those reviews. For our first stop, we're going to head to Cedar Rapids, Iowa, to a Menards. This very Menards looking Menards has a 4.0 rating on 1,069 reviews. Cedar Rapids has a surprisingly large population for Iowa with 137,710 people. And one of the people that used to call Cedar Rapids home was actor Ashton Kutcher, star of the movie The Butterfly Effect, which Jeff thought was a great movie when he was a teenager. So with all of that in mind, let's dive into these reviews. Our first Menards review comes from KD. On Monday night, December 18, 2 front-end employees wearing yellow vests were found standing inside the cart corral talking to each other for a long time. Not doing their jobs. They need to do their jobs or punch out and go home. Not acceptable. We need and appreciate your business is not acceptable for this place. We need and appreciate your business is not acceptable response for this place. The only thing that this review is missing is a really blurry picture of the employees standing around doing nothing. Off to a great start. Let's go to the next review. Let's see what annoyed Brock.
My name's Brock.
Don't buy any lumber from this hellscape. Terrible customer service. Had to return deck materials 4 times for one order, and they wanted me to pay extra for something I already paid for. What a clown show. I have a question. If the lumber's so bad you have to return it 4 times, would you trust that deck? I don't know if I would. Maybe if you paid me. I think after the 2nd time I would have gone somewhere else for my lumber because fool me once, shame on... How'd that go again?
If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
Ah, yes, that's how it goes. Thanks, GW. And let's go to the next review from Manuel. I really don't know why they put harsh people to work as cashiers. Today a lady named Kit helped me, and the truth is her lack of respect for customers leaves a lot to be desired. People like that shouldn't have working. Be cashier, you must be kind. I always go to Menards, and until today, I had a bad day with that employee. For me, her way of being is unprofessional. I feel like we've all been there before when we've had a cashier that's having a bad day, or maybe you have to use self-checkout and you're having a bad day. But it's never made me want to go online and leave a 1-star review about them. But I'm really glad that other people do, like Joshua with his 1-star review. On 7/13/21, I ordered 9 custom cut blinds. Reach into my pocket to pay. I didn't have my wallet. I asked the cashier, please call the manager over because I wanted to run out to my car to transfer money from one account to another account, so in the end I could use my phone to pay. I was informed that they could not hold my product as I had not paid for them. The front-end manager that night made it perfectly clear that if I walk away from the cash register, he will definitely be defecting out the blinds that I just had cut. This is one of those reviews where I have to ask the Jeff freaks. That's what I call my subscribers. I feel like there's something missing to this story, right? Why would he have to go to his car to transfer money so he can use his phone? Did he not have his phone on him too? Why does he have to go to the car for that? Wouldn't his wallet be in his car? Little confused. While you ponder that thought, I'll read Peggy's review. We went to Menards to purchase privacy fence panels. After paying for them, we went around to the pickup area. Not one person working for Menards offered to help us with loading the panels. They are large wood panels, heavy to lift. Not to mention that nearly all of them were damaged or broken. We finally went to get some help because we could not reach the panels. A guy came back, moved the panels with a forklift, and left. He could have offered to help, but didn't say anything. What the heck do they get paid for in the pickup/loading area? And who is responsible if a customer gets injured while lifting heavy items? Do we get a discount for doing the work ourselves? Very, very poor customer service. I am not happy with the amount of money we spent and to get no help. That is a really good question. Who is liable to get that down? Because if the panels are up in the air, I mean, a customer can't get on a forklift, even if they are forklift certified, right? What is going on here? Oofda. Some of these reviews are pretty rough, but pretty funny. If you've made it this far, please consider subscribing to join the Jeff Freaks. I've also opened up memberships for Super Jeff Freaks, such as Jen, Steven, Jawara Hall, and Jake. Thank you so much for the extra support. Alright, back to the reviews. Let's find out if we learn more with Nazar's review. Received bad customer service from a store associate, and thought it would be helpful and more professional to report it to store general manager, who ended up backing his employee without even listening to the complaint. Menards replied next day to my Google comment, recommending to contact their general manager if I have any concerns. However, I ended up purchasing my appliance from Lowe's, with much better deal and great customer service. I feel sorry to see the quality of a long-time standing business going down. I really want to know what happened since the store manager ended up backing the employee instead of Nazar. But Nazar did name drop Lowe's, so how about we go there next? And that Lowe's is located in Goldsboro, North Carolina. This ordinary looking Lowe's store has a 3.9 rating on 2,435 reviews. The city of Goldsboro has a population of 33,657 people. Your fun and slightly disturbing fact about this area is that in 1961, a B-52 bomber carrying two 3.8 megaton nuclear bombs broke up midair above Goldsboro. Both bombs ended up landing to the ground, but luckily neither one detonated, even though one was pretty close. So with all of that in mind, let's blast into those reviews. The first Lowe's review comes from Danny, and it's a great one. Only 1 star because it will not let me leave a 0. Went in Saturday morning at 9:30 to purchase a bag charcoal for a cookout that evening. Went to the front desk to check out and noticed there were 3 to 4 self-checkout lines waiting and only one human at a lone cash register. Went to the one cash register where a lady was waiting on another customer. I had the bag of charcoal under my arm, shifting back and forth for about 4 minutes as I waited. There was another couple behind me. When the cashier was done with the customer in front of me, she looked at me and said, "I'm not open," and walked away. I quickly asked if there was another cashier available, and she said, "No," very rudely, and never turned around. I understand that people have problems in their lives, but you don't bring them to work. I dropped the bag of charcoal where I stood out of humiliation and walked out.
Hello?
Hi, it's me.
I will never set foot in that store again and will surely relay this experience with everyone I know. Terrible customer service. How do you not have cashiers working on Saturday morning during peak times? This is one of my favorite reviews ever. Dropping a bag of charcoal out of humiliation. Now that is just like the perfect amount of drama in a review, and I love it. What do you guys think? Does Lynn drop anything out of humiliation? Let's find out. No help. Asked for help 3 times and no one showed up to help us. Finally got a ladder and got item myself. So unconcerned. Will not offer to help you at all. Well, in the end, Lynn ended up helping herself, but that doesn't sound too safe having customers climb ladders. What can we learn from Ken's review? Let's find out. Lowe's Rewards member, plus a veteran, and wouldn't honor the discount because I'm buying an appliance. Pretty boy manager Brain was zero help and very disrespectful. Lowe's has lost my business forever. I have a feeling that pretty boy manager Brain was disrespectful to Ken because he was too busy
Try to take over the world before another idiotic dance comes along.
That show was the only thing I could think of when I saw the name Brain for the manager. I'm sure it was Brian. Anyways, let's move on to Steven's review. Reschedules my delivery date twice for a dishwasher. Delivery guy misses the 4-hour window by 2 hours with no phone call. I called them, they told me it was rescheduled. I drove out there to pick it up and they only gave me $20 of the delivery fee back. Then, to add insult to injury, after 1.5 hours of waiting, I had to use a hand truck to get it out of the parking lot myself. No associate would help. I have spent way too much of my money with these clowns. Home Depot, please come to Goldsboro. That does sound like a very annoying experience, having your delivery rescheduled multiple times and then you have to load it yourself. Keep that last sentence in mind about Home Depot later on in this video, little foreshadowing. But before we get there, let's move on to Melvin's review. Word to the wise, Don't purchase an appliance protection plan from Lowe's. It's a scam. If you can afford to get the protection plan, you can afford to get it fixed. I purchased one for my washer and dryer and my refrigerator and didn't use it, and they only wanted to give me 30% back out of $600. I was lied to by the sales associate. They told me if I didn't use it, I would be refunded the full amount in the form of a gift card. Never again! I want to know what sort of kickback the sales associate gets for selling these protection plans. Is it worth lying to the customer? Probably. No, I really hope they don't do that. And also, the next review comes from No. I love it when they call you and let you know your carpet is cut and ready to go. And when you get there, none of it is ready or anything. And they try to play it off and put it on somebody else. And I told them over 5 hours to do one thing. Legend has it this review is still going on and on and on and on. I hope that No finally got their carpet cut. But for now, let's go to the next home improvement store. And that store is a Home Depot in Bozeman, Montana. This Home Depot's front's a little bit fancier than those plain orange ones, and it has a 3.8 rating on 889 reviews. The city of Bozeman is rocking a population of 53,293 people. If you're into dinosaurs and you find yourself in Bozeman, you can visit the Museum of the Rockies, which is one of the largest collections of North American dinosaur fossils, including MOR 008, the largest T-Rex skull ever discovered. So with that in mind, let's just dig into these reviews. Let's get Home Depot started with Dana. Purchased a bathroom vanity. When it arrived, it had been damaged and they put putty on it and still tried to sell it to us at full price. Then they broke the bathroom doors on the same order. Shop anywhere else. If I could give them negative stars, I would. The staff didn't even apologize for the inconvenience after waiting for this to arrive. Very, very disappointed. Do you remember Steven's review from Lowe's wishing for a Home Depot to come to his city? I bet if he read this review, he'd be thinking twice. The next review comes from Josh. The worst pro desk I have ever had. If you are a contractor, do not use this location. I have called the Pro Desk for 4 weeks now. 18 calls. 18 voicemails. No answers the phone. No one's is at the desk. The worst customer service. Go to hell in a Home Depot or Lowe's. Do not use this location. How many times would you try calling before you gave up? 14, 15, 18, 70? I think for me, it would probably have been like 3. The next review comes from a truck driver trying to deliver to Home Depot, so it's a bit different. Let's read. Not an ideal place to deliver to. Been waiting around forever for someone to unload the product they ordered. Stop wasting a truck driver's time. Even if you're my last stop, I'd like to start my time off of work. I bust my butt driving your product over 1,000 miles into the middle of nowhere in a dead freight market, only to have your employees waste my time. I highly doubt I'll ever come back to this location. You can definitely tell that the woman doing the receiving doesn't like her job, and she takes it out on the drivers, even when I was extremely polite and professional with her. For some reason, I feel like if you have to point out that you were extremely polite and professional, you might not have been. The next review comes from the cousin of No. It's Nora. I asked for some help to get some carpet. No one came. So I went to ask for help again. They looked at me like I was weird for asking for help and told me there was nothing they could do. Don't waste your time here unless you're saying hi to Jeremy. Lowe's is across the street. Save yourself the hassle. Couple of things. Who is Jeremy? And I love how there's a Lowe's across the street, like they're gonna be any better. Let's get to the next review from Kurt. I visit the Home Depot in Bozeman, Montana almost daily. In the past few months, Home Depot has been hiring non-English speaking associates that when I ask for help, they have no idea what I'm talking about. Plumbing and gas fittings recently. Today I left the parking lot and saw a homeless man living in a display shed in the parking lot. I called the Bozeman location 4 times and every time it rang until it automatically hung up on me. I finally called law enforcement to remove the homeless man. Really need better management at this location. Kurt's review felt like 4 separate 1-star reviews all mashed into one. But my favorite part is the homeless man living in the display shed outside. Now that's a power move. The next review from Home Depot comes from Dragon Burst. Terrible customer service. I went with my mom to buy, deliver, and install a screen door. The first employee we talked to directed us to the help desk. Then the help desk directed us to the pro desk.
The knee bone's connected to the thigh bone.
And there was no one at the pro desk. We finally went to Lowe's, which had way more helpful employees. Let's put that last line to the test. Does Lowe's really have more helpful employees? Let's go there next. And the Lowe's that we're going to is in Yonkers, New York. This Lowe's that has a ton of grills and a ton of plants outside has a 3.9 rating on 2,710 reviews. Yonkers has a population of 211,569 people. Your quick fact about Yonkers is that Yonkers is the location where Elijah Otis demonstrated the first elevator in 1853. That's a long time ago. You couldn't pay me to ride that elevator. But hey, let's go and read the reviews. The first review for this Lowe's in Yonkers, New York comes from Raza. I ordered a water heater and it was delivered damaged. Lowe's requested that I order another one and schedule a pickup for the damaged one. I went ahead and ordered a new one and that too arrived damaged. And now I'm stuck with 2 damaged items. When I spoke to a supervisor at the Yonkers location, I was informed that nothing can be done and to keep trying my luck. Then I requested if the store would expedite the order if I came by personally to pick it up and was told, no, just horrific customer service. Stay away. I wonder how many damaged water heaters Raza ended up with before he finally got one that was working. Let me know your best guess in the comments down below and I'll read you Anthony's review. I can't stand when every time I come here I get poached by people trying to solicit me solar panels and whenever else. It's irritating, especially when I say I'm not interested and they continue to question me. Just how aggressive and pushy are these salesmen where you can't just like walk away like 15 feet and they'll just like stop like they're an NPC in a video game and just whoop, turn right back around and go back to their booth. Like most of the time you can just walk away. The next review comes from Herbert. I strongly advise against shopping at Lowe's or any Lowe's location for that matter. Their return and exchange policies are incredibly frustrating and customer unfriendly. I purchased an air conditioner that stopped working after just 1 day of use. When I returned to the store to exchange it, I was told that exchanges are only allowed within 48 hours. Unfortunately, the unit wasn't even installed until after that window had passed, so I had no way of knowing it was defective in time. The whole experience feels like a scam. Selling a faulty product and then refusing to make it right because of an inflexible policy is unacceptable. I won't be returning to Lowe's and I highly recommend others avoid them as well. That return and exchange policy does feel a bit strict. Only 48 hours to return something that's faulty? Like, how are you supposed to know it's faulty within 2 days? It seems a bit extreme, doesn't it? Let's see what sort of experience this Steven had. I always liked this store and it was night and day compared to HD. But after my last visit, it's like all the other big box stores stuffed with products, but empty of help. I asked one employee for help. He passed me off to someone else who would not even look my way and eventually walked off. Not much to do, but walk out. So far in this video, I really enjoy when the person leaving a review name drops another store, like, oh, actually that store is better. Then we go to that store and they name drop the store we just came from. It's just so great. Let's see if Chris name drops any other store. Stopped in to purchase 50 bags of mulch. Paid for 50 bags of mulch. Helped the nice guy load 50 bags of mulch into my van. Got home and there were only 47 bags. I asked him to double check the count and he said it was good. I do feel bad for Chris. You can just tell how angry he was. He's like, I asked for 50. I needed 50 and they gave me 47. Let's read what happened to Abe. I would rather deal with a Home Depot. They are more friendly. Well, Abe's in luck and so are you guys because our next stop is a Home Depot. And that Home Depot is in Roseburg, Oregon. This Home Depot is a lot more generic looking than the last one and it has a 4.1 rating on 1,380 reviews. The city has a population of 23,683 people. Your fun fact about Roseburg is former MLB pitcher Jeremy Guthrie was born here. Gives me an excuse to talk about baseball and an excuse to use this picture of him pitching. It looks like his arm is broken. With that in mind, let's go read some reviews. The first review for this Home Depot comes from A.T. I loved going to this store. Workers were willing to help and it was a pleasant experience. In the last few months though, especially this trip, the young boy in Roseburg Home Depot was called to help load the concrete. And all the while he was doing it, he muttered something under his breath and then on purpose threw the concrete bag on the rocks to make sure they popped. He was obviously irritated for asking to do his job. Hope they kick him out. He is making the store look bad. I'm going to ask you guys, the Jet Freaks, what you think about this one. Do you think the young boy was purposely trying to do that, or is this person just a bit paranoid? Let me know. And while you give me your thoughts on that one, I'll read Steve's review. Home Depot practices bait and switch.
bait and switch.
Tactics. We ordered farm gates from the website. They had them in stock and could deliver them the next day. As soon as we clicked on to purchase, the delivery date changed from next day delivery to 2 weeks out. They wouldn't provide this information until after you paid them. We can't wait 2 additional weeks for these gates and now have to cancel the order because their website doesn't provide the correct shipping date. Brighton was great help throughout the process. Great employee. Wasn't his fault. Your website doesn't work correctly. That could ruin a lot of projects and potentially be dangerous if you need something like the next day and you click to order and it's like, actually, that's going to be 3 weeks. You're like, no, I need that. My basement is flooding. I need that product. So I can totally understand why Steve is upset. Next up for Home Depot is Adam. Saturday night, 2:15:25. I was in desperate need of a part. I hate to be the person that walks in right at closing, but I raced to HD. Arrived at the entrance doors at 8:51, only to be waved off by an employee through the glass stating they were closed. Hours clearly state they close at 9. By 8:55, employees were walking out and driving off. Aw, man, that is kind of rough, especially if you needed that part desperately and you think you have enough time to get there, and you get there at 10 minutes to spare, just get waved off and told they're closed already, and then you see employees leaving early. Maybe those employees weren't closers. I don't really know, but let's go to the next review. Let's see what the deal with Deli's review is. Why is there 5 customers trying to get in the building? They are supposed to be in the hours say they're open whenever the doors are locked and the store appears to be empty. Obviously, the use of this Home Depot not care if Home Depot makes money or close permanently, so they just lock the door and go home when they want to. I know what Delia is trying to say, but they said it in the most convoluted way possible, and they're also a local guide leaving reviews like this? What? The next reviewer doesn't need more than one letter to define them, and that letter is W. Couldn't find anyone to help me look at lawnmowers. Eventually found 2 ladies sitting on their phones who ignored me. I feel bad for W not being able to get any help. Where's Hank Hill when you need him?
Why would anyone do drugs when they could just mow a lawn?
I love the wise words of Hank Hill. Let's see if Jim has any wise words in his review. Go to Lowe's. I order ahead, but they make you buy in bulk online for small items, so I went in. 3 different aisles I needed were closed. PIA, written in Lowe's lot after I was ran off every section I needed. You go to Lowe's and people are craving Home Depot. You go to Home Depot and people just want a Lowe's. But you know what I want? I want to go to a Menards next. Let's go. Even though that Jim name dropped Lowe's, we're going to head up to Minnesota to Detroit Lakes and visit a Menards. This Menards looked very Menardsy like most Menards, and it has a 3.9 rating on 641 reviews. The city of Detroit Lakes has a population of 9,869 people. Nice. Your quick fun fact is that the city was originally just named Detroit, but then had to change its name in 1927 to avoid confusion with Detroit, Michigan. The word Detroit is French for straight or narrows, and it's referring to the sandbar between Big and Little Detroit Lakes, which makes me even more confused. So with all of that in mind, let's get into these Menards reviews. We'll get this Minnesota Menards started with Dave. Special ordered a door. Unsure if it was delivered yet, I went to the back. Order pickup. Counter. The employee, Josh, looked it up on the computer, then just left to see if he could find it. He returned to the counter and rested my door down. I asked, can I drive my truck around back and load it? He states, no. It's already been signed out. So then I go searching around the store for a cart and load it on my own and push it out the front. Thank you, sir. Hope you have a better day. I'm not sure what it means by it's already been signed out, but maybe that means it's already been signed out to the customer, and then at that point Menards isn't allowed to do anything about it. I really don't know. Unfortunately, I'm not up to date on Menards' policies. Let's go to the next review. And that review is written by Nick. I came in looking for wasp/hornet spray, and they were completely out of stock, and so was Walmart. The employees seemed really indifferent, and more interested in talking with each other than helping customers. Something about the name Nick and looking for hornet/wasp spray that just reminds me of something. What was that?
Oh, no, not the bees! Not the bees! Ah! Oh, my eyes! My eyes! Ah!
That's why Nick needed the wasp spray. I get it now. But let's move on to Sydney's review. Extremely disappointed with the customer care service I was helped with on 6/2/23. I walked up and said hello with a smile. Zero response and just stared at me with a judging demeanor. My business is tax exempt, and I had to get something fixed on one of my receipts that didn't ring up correctly, and she stated she can't do anything about it because the store was in North Dakota. On the receipt it states it was purchased in Moorhead. She refused to listen to my response and shut me down. She said I needed to go home to my at-home computer when I have had the same issues with receipts and have brought them in before with zero issues of fixing them. Sounds like this lady just didn't want to work that day or do her job. I will be filing a complaint with corporate. Ooh, here's another fun one for the Jeff freaks out there. What do you guys think Menards corporate did with that complaint? Anything? Nothing? Everything? I vote nothing. The next Menards review comes from Peggy. Very poor customer service by Donna yesterday in returns. She informed me she had been off the clock for 45 minutes? Maybe that was the reason for the attitude? I have never experienced bad service at this Menards before. Why was Donna still at work if she had clocked out 45 minutes ago? 45 minutes after I'm done with work, I'm already home, cuddling with Oscar. I'm having a good time. Oscar's my dog. The next review is from Sean. Very disappointed in Menards today. I bought a vacuum at the store 2 weeks ago. The belt broke. I figured they would sell the belts as they are a normal wear item, but nope, they don't carry the belts for this vacuum. And I was going to buy another item while I was there, and the lines were 6 to 7 deep with 2 registers open, and waited a few minutes, but the store never opened another line. After today, Menards in Detroit Lakes will be my last stop to buy anything. Having your vacuum break and not be able to find a belt for it at the store you bought it from, that's a really sucky situation to be in. At least Sean's smart enough to speak with his wallet and not spend more money at this Menards. How did things go for Cody at this Menards? Shop at Home Depot or anywhere else, spent tens of thousands of dollars at this store. I think I could get a simple item swap. Nope. Well, the trend continues until the bitter end, name dropping other home improvement stores while leaving a review at a different one. And the conclusion is they all have their problems. And with that, you made it to the end of my video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like if you haven't, subscribe for more, and watch this video if you haven't seen it before, because I'm Jeff and I can't wait to see you again. Goodbye.